How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video. With this one, we'll be responding to another Onision video. And I think this is a kind of continuation of the last video where he was justifying saying the N-word. So without further delay, why don't we go ahead and get started. The video we're responding to is titled, Stop Taking People Out of Context, Stop Being Selectively Offended.
Like this video if you feel offensive comedy shouldn't be censored and believe in free speech. Dislike this video if you are offended by South Park's Chappelle's Show and Tropic Thunder.
I gotta say, it's kind of hilarious that Onision is trying to put himself in the same ring as South Park and various of other, popular shows that have quote-unquote offensive comedy. But let's be real here. When it comes to their comedy, they have a purpose. They're satirizing something. However, with Onision, he's just offensive to be offensive. Because at this point, it's not really satirizing anything. It's just him, being a prick. Especially when it comes to people's emotions.
Hey guys, I launched my Twitch, so I hope you're loving it so far. I'm having a lot of fun gaming with you guys and talking to you guys, so that's really cool. Today, I wanted to talk, first of all, about the last video that I did. It was about the N-word, and I didn't know of any video clip out there where I was saying N-I-G-G-A.
There's a couple times where you've said the N-word as well as been racist. You probably wouldn't remember because, let's face it, you just shell out these crappy videos and make the excuse of, not remembering every single thing that you put in them.
Someone brought it to my attention. There's a clip that I made with Billy the Fridge a very long time ago, like 2016, so 4 years ago.
A quick example of Billy acting in a sketch that if you later decided to pretend was real, could make him look like a maniac.
So, not to show the clip itself shows Billy the Fridge going crazy, and then somebody being kind of bleeped out when, I would assume, saying the N-word. And that's about it. And it's funny that, Greg, unfortunately, doesn't really tell us, shames us for not having context to the situation, but doesn't, provide, the clip, or at least, not the clip, but the title of the video, and a way to access it just to get the full footage. Because, let's face it, when it comes to situations like this, context is key. Am I right? Now, I have a feeling that when it comes to something like this, Greg is going to use this as his, his answer or his response to, people claiming that, I've never said the N-word, or I've never used the N-word in my videos. And try to justify once again on, whether or not he used it.
Meanwhile, Billy is an awesome actor and did a great job, but if he had enemies, they would use this clip to act like he's a monster.
Not necessarily, considering that, with a lot of people, especially people that do, their research when it comes to videos or discussing topics, as long as they have the full video and give context to the situation, stuff like that never happens, where, information like that isn't taken out of context. But now I gotta ask if this is Onision's way to try and denounce some of the evidence that people have, brought to his attention when it comes to his behavior in various videos. Even though, those videos are of him doing the things he does in a sort of very either creepy, disruptive, or, let's face it, harassing or abusive way. So, if this is him trying to denounce the evidence, I'm sorry, I don't think this is going to work at all.
Because they are too dishonest to admit, it's just acting in comedy.
Let me ask you, Greg, Was it harassing your comedy to go after your, exes after the fact that they were done with you and you continue to do so? Was it comedy when you continuously went after Eugenia Cooney after you told her that if she contacted you, you wouldn't harass her anymore? And you continued to do so. In fact, if you guys want, here's the clip of that.
Eugenia Cooney, if you see this ever or hear about this ever, just write me an email and say, please stop, and I'll never make a video about you again.
So, for those who don't know, that is a clip from the debate between Jack and Glenn and Onision. And he clearly says in that clip right there or at least for Eugenia Cooney to write him and he never do a video again. However, even after her contacting him, asking him not to make any videos, what does he do? Oh yes, that's right. Even though she wanted nothing to do with him, told him to stop, he continued to do it anyways. Video after video after video. And eventually, after she got out of rehab, he continued to do so, claiming that he was the pillar of her going to rehab. What a disgusting scumbag.
And the whole sketch was like someone drops the NIGGA and then the other person actually gets really upset and offended and so forth. And I think it may have come about by Billy just in general being like not into it. So I was just like, well, let's make a whole sketch about you not being into it, or make a whole bit about you not being into it and you being offended. He's like, okay, I'd be comfortable with that. So we did that. And it was a sketch about the N-word being offensive. So,
since you're kind of going off about context is key, I highly doubt that, especially since, last time I checked, there was no link to that particular video, and a lot of us aren't going to really see the full context of that video.
Apparently that's too far. I've done something horrible. In the last video, I talked about South Park and iDubbbz and all these different contexts of using the N-word.
So before I say what I need to say, I need to make a quick correction for my last video because I accidentally called the character that said the N-word in South Park Stan Marsh when it was actually Randy Marsh. So for that, I do apologize for making that mistake in my last video. Now, when it comes down to, the word or the usage of that in, TV shows, Onision is trying to make it out as if, saying the N-word is the butt of the joke, when really it's not. In fact, it adds to, or at least is the starter to, the conflict that some of our characters have to deal with. Especially in Randy Marsh's case, where on live television, he says the N-word, and throughout the episode, he is introduced, or at least comes together with a variety of other stars on TV who said the N-word on live television, and then they revolt, or at least become chastised. Stan also become chastised because his one friend now considers him a racist, or at least one of his friends, who I believe was named Tolkien. Leave in the comments if I got it right or wrong. It's been a while since I watched South Park. But at this point, because his dad said the N-word, that now means that he himself is in the same kind of criteria as his dad, being treated as a racist. And it's them trying to deal with that situation. Again, them saying, a naughty word on, the video or the TV show or movie, whatever, is not the butt of the joke. It's the follow-up. Which is something that, for somebody who claims he knows comedy, should understand. And I can't believe that I'm actually defending the use of, people saying the N-word. But in a sense, you guys know my thing is this, at this point, when it comes down to it, if it's universally wrong, it shouldn't be used. But in a sense, when it comes to dealing with this individual's logic, especially when it comes to comedy or entertainment, I'm willing to combat it.
And I also talked about when it sounded like I used the hard R, it was not the other one. I feel like there's a lot of white people who want to act like heroes and act like, you know, everything is awful.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, I myself don't feel like I'm a hero. I know I'm an asshole half the time when it comes to videos, or at least when it comes to my responses. But in a sense, when it comes to, you know, discussing people's actions, you know, some of us feel that, you know, the people who do things that are, you know, kind of stupid and offensive should be held accountable. And you're no exception, Greg. Heck, if I did anything wrong, then I would want to be held accountable for my own actions and for what I've done. And not act as if I'm the victim in a situation.
Because they like feeling good about themselves and not because it actually means anything or they're actually good people.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I really don't.
I think people just like putting others down to make themselves feel better about who they are.
I smell job. You're ugly.
And I'm not innocent of this. I've been very self-righteous in the past and stuff like that, but
well, if all the things that you've posted online have shown us, you're manipulative, you're a liar, you're abusive, you are a two-timing snake, and above all, just a very, very terrible person.
I went on a little Twitter spiel last night, and I just wanted to address that real quick. I'm like off center, whatever. You'll forgive me, right? I went on a spiel about how YouTube I'm not compatible with YouTube. Okay, like I've been doing it for like over 10 years, and it rots your soul.
How much you want to bet he's going to blame the critics for the quote-unquote rotting of his soul?
And by that I mean it incentivizes negativity. Okay, like the more hateful you are towards another YouTuber, the more hateful you are about a different topic, the more people want to watch you and the more people want to get radicalized and all that junk.
Called it.
Yeah, nothing like, not taking responsibility for your own actions. Blame the critics. Blame everybody who's done videos on you because, that's the only way that you can, consider yourself or continue to make yourself out to be, the victim. Oh, it was everybody else who did it. Everybody else who's talked about me. Not my own actions and the reasons for me to, cause me to not only lose my Patreon twice, but be chastised all over the internet for how much of a shitty person I am. And you wonder why a lot of people consider you one of the biggest liars on YouTube.
I don't want to be that. So I'm essentially emotionally quitting YouTube as far as putting all my time into it and trying here. I just want to say my piece and that's it.
Translation, the only times he'll ever come on YouTube anymore is to backpedal, when he's called out for something heinous he did, as well as re-release, old shitty videos.
Anyway, the point is, going on Twitch today, and if you guys can't digest this, if you want to be mad about this, if you want to hate me for this, dude, that's on you. But you got to realize, it's going to eat you from the inside out. it's going to kill you as a person. Like, you are going to suffer the more hate you feel.
Yeah, I can't really say it's about hate when I do these videos. If anything, it's, calling out somebody who is a manipulative piece of shit, who is trying to justify using a word that he knows is offensive and trying to backpedal on the fact that people were calling him out to be a racist. Now, if you guys want proof, here's a few clips that I found when it comes to his behavior in terms of, saying the N-word as well as, him being a racist. The first clip in question was a clip from a video where he tries to justify the usage of the N-word.
Whenever I say I'm referring to someone who's non-black because I find that to be hilarious. Kind of give other people the hard A. Like, I go and look in the mirror and I say, ha ha! Shit!
Here's a clip of him saying the N-word when he was reading a comment for one of his videos.
Care if girls look different without makeup. Your dick be looking small before it get hard, so...
So what the fuck are you talking about? Guys don't influence how big their dicks look. They just look as big as they look. Now, if we put makeup on our dicks, then you might have a point. But unfortunately, what you said was 100% irrelevant.
Here's Greg being ignorant about people's hair, as well as, once again showing his ignorance to genetics and, more likely the fact that people are different than him.
Nigger bitch. This frizzy crap, I say frizzy crap because it just comes to mind. Highly braided, whatever. First of all, pretty sure she doesn't spend 7 hours a day braiding that. Pretty sure she doesn't even necessarily wash that. And I know that I'm not attracted to that. Here we have another example of that probably doesn't feel good to the touch, probably isn't fun to maintain, it probably hurts your scalp, probably isn't washed very much, just don't. Then we have this girl who's basically the perfect hairstyle for people of a highly curly nature. Looks like you put a bit of effort into it, but not too much. And it totally looks maintainable. Like, you can wash it, and it'll be okay. I'm more attracted to something like this. Something that you feel more inclined to believe that she prepped that today, so that doesn't smell like dead rats. Unlike probably haven't washed my hair in 4 years girl over here.
He hates frizz.
If my hair looked like that when I grew it out, I would have to figure something out. Like this.
You really want to use some styling products. You want to make sure your hair is nice and defined. And also, he needs to be able to look at it and feel like he can run his hands through it.
Because I'm using the right products, my hair is fantastic. It's super lovely to touch. People always compliment me on my hair when they put their fingers through it.
And here's a clip of Onision himself using the N-word bleeped out multiple times.
Nigger, stupid nigger. What's up, all my niggers? Nigger. Everyone loves me more for saying nigger. Stupid niggers. Nigger.
Now, earlier on in the video, we talked about, the use of offensive stuff in a joke, in the fact that, in context of, what happened in South Park, where Randy Marsh says the N-word, and all this stuff happens following up to what he did. Saying the N-word wasn't the butt of the joke. If anything, it was, just the start, or just the nuclear bomb that starts everything or sets everything in motion. So, I guess, if anything, to ask the same question a lot of other people have asked Greg, what is the point of comedy when it comes to what you did there? Was it just so you can say the N-word multiple times? To see how many people you would offend? I don't know. I mean, if we've already proven time and time again that your comedy sucks. And if anything, it's not that you're trying to be comedic. It's you being offensive to just be offensive. So, if anything, what is the point of comedy with clips like that last one, where you just repeatedly said the N-word over and over and over again? I'd love to hear your answer, but unfortunately, I have a feeling you would just backpedal, or if anything, not answer at all. So, yeah. I will say that this has been a really interesting experience, but something that hopefully is over with pretty soon. Or at least, he can go back to hiding himself away and, OnlyFans or whatnot. Because, let's face it, him trying to defend himself is the same equivalent to a train wreck. So, with that being said, though, I think I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, leave the comments down below what you guys think. If you have any opinions on what was discussed in this particular video, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description. If you guys want to follow our daily content, please do so, as well as check out our weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob of Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.